So today I want to talk about how in software development we have products and projects, but we don't talk about the projects. So I come from NetGuru, and NetGuru is like 650 people in Poland. What is kind of special about our company is that we don't have our own products. We only work as a service provider. We are a service company building software, building digital solutions for our clients to provide value for their business, not for ours. And if you work in service industry for a few years, you realize there's this disturbing thing in the community that lots of people are focused on products. Almost no one is focused on projects. Even some people say like there's no project manager in agile software development and so on and so on. And then you read this and you're like, yeah, but I'm a project manager. What do I do? And I think this is kind of important because I think it's not representing the true needs on the market anymore. If you think about B2B especially, now with Industry 4.0 already in progress, with digital transformation, the companies that want to transform their ways and utilize digital tools to their benefit, there is more and more need for service providers on the market because there is, I believe those out-of-the-box solutions, those set-it-and-forget-it solutions won't work anymore. So even if you are a product company, even if you work in a product team, ultimately your goal is to make sure that your product is a good service to your client and it brings them value in their business. So I think, yeah, it will change over time. Maybe this is an overstatement, but over time it will change. Now the challenge with this, if you want to work in providing projects that are a service to your company, to the companies that are your clients, the challenge usually lies within the development team. Because if the development team is within the service company and the client is somewhere else, we struggle to fill in the definition that is given by, for example, Scrum Guide. So I still believe, yes, the development team that works on a product, they can and they have all the skills necessary to create a product increment. But that probably doesn't cut it anymore in services. Because if you think of a product development team, they are developers, they have full software ownership, so they're responsible for what they build. And they are accompanied by product people who give them some guidance about why we build it, what's the value in it, what's the value for the end user. But this works well provided you have the context and provided you have the business environment around. So you have all those people in your company that say, this is our company's mission. This is how our company is making money. This is the business model we operate in, which is why we need this product to fit into the portfolio of our products to make us more profit or to make us have a great impact on the market. Now, if you work with service, it's tricky. Those people are gone. You don't have them. All you're left with is a development team, product owner, maybe from your side or from the client side. But very rarely you get to connect the developers with those business people because they might be sitting on a different continent. And maybe it's so that the product owner is kind of a gateway and proxy and doesn't want you to communicate with the business anymore. It happens. And now what's missing here is actually the foundation of agile software development, bringing the technology and the business together. So if you work in service, you realize quickly that instead of having the team that is capable of providing value, maybe they're actually able to provide the product increment, but sometimes you hear this, yeah, the team delivers, but it's not exactly what we want. We want them to be more creative, we want them to be innovative, we want them to add value to our business and not only follow the vision that we stated, because the vision is within the product owner and maybe it's a little bit detached from the business, but your team doesn't know that. So trying to address this, we kind of challenged the idea of the development team and wanted to bring the idea of service team up. It starts pretty similarly. So of course we have those three domains, business, product and software. And we want to rephrase them a bit to fit better into our model. So instead of business, we say it's a service ownership. It's making sure that we understand why this particular client wants to use our product, wants to use our service. And for this, maybe there is some kind of a portfolio manager responsible to get this information, to make sure we understand it. Then for product ownership, we have to change it into project ownership because we understand that providing service is not just products anymore. It's product within project. So it's a project of building a product and making it useful for our client. And maybe there are some account managers. Maybe there are some project managers in the process. That's totally fine. The core thing is we change the ownership of the development team. And we say, you're no longer only responsible for software development. Instead, you're responsible for the solution. You have the solution ownership now. You need to make sure that whatever you build fits the needs of the business you work for ultimately. And it's not us as a service provider. It's the company that we're building it for. And this is already disturbing because it looks like a pyramid. And when you see a pyramid, it looks like hierarchy. When you have a hierarchy, people say, yeah, it's not agile anymore. So it rings a bell in our heads as well. We're like, yeah, it's a risk. It's definitely a risk to teams' self-governance. It's a risk to teams' autonomy. So we need to find a way to structure the communication around those people to make sure that there is no chain of command, actually, but just support that's necessary. So we state some rules. We say, top-down, the only communication that can go is to challenge the team, to go out of the box, to think differently, to educate the team about what is that we are working for, what is the business, what is the industry, who are those people that we're working for, and give them some advice. How can you make your service even more pleasant for the client, even more valuable? And bottom up, we also stated, very similar things should go up. We should be able, the development team should be able to challenge the managers and their leaders and say, we have an obstacle we want you to help us remove. They also educate the team, the managers. They say, this is feasible, this is easy, this is technology possible, and this is not. Make sure that all of our clients understand that. And of course, they can put up requests, very direct requests for the managers and say, there is an obstacle on our way, please remove it, please help us remove it. Now, to give you an example, one of the communications from bottom up could be something like, please help us educate the client about the value of proper refinement sessions. And then we actually had this. We had this request from one of our teams. So we deployed an Agile coach and senior Agile coach to our client company, and we helped them understand they need to build up their teams of their own Agile coaches, maybe Scrum Masters, to help to understand the process better, so we can provide the service to our fullest possible potential. One of the communications that goes top-down was, for example, when some of the managers understood that the product we're building for our client, it will need to be verified on the market very fast. They will need some initial number of users. And we kind of understood that the client doesn't really have a strategy for getting those users early on. If we build a product, it's perfectly fine, but we don't help them to build up the community of early users, the product is still useless. So the managers challenged the team, and they said, how can you as a team help to make sure that your product fits in the business needs? And then it was the team's idea to ask one of our own social media specialists to join them for a week, to cooperate with the client, to make sure that there is some momentum on their social media to gather those initial number of people. And when I talk about this, like we pull an Agile coach for here for a second, we pull a social media expert for a moment, you get to understand the picture that there is a wide array of people available in every company, especially in service companies, that are experts in their fields. And those people, they can be used by the development team, they can be used by service team to provide even better value for our clients. The problem, of course, is we don't want those people to impose on the development team. We just want them to be available as experts. So coming back, whenever we finish any meeting with our development team, with the service team we build, between the managers, the leaders, and the team, we always say, it is your ultimate responsibility in the end. You as a team are responsible for what happens next. What's key about this is that the team actually decides if they want to meet with the manager again, if they want to meet with the portfolio manager, if they want to meet with C-level or whoever. And if they don't, we understand that because we incentivize our managers to be useful this way. So if the team doesn't want to have contact with the manager anymore, we understand there's something wrong. The manager doesn't provide value. Maybe they're not communicating with the team well. Maybe they're not cooperating together. But also we say to the teams, if in the end of the process you fail to deliver stellar service to our clients, we will ask you, have you used all the tools you had in your toolbox? And one of the tools is your managers. One of the tools is your experts. So if you have not consulted and still failed, we will ask you why, and we'll try to solve it in the future. Because it's the service team that's accountable for the solution to fit the business needs of our clients. And the managers are not boss. They're just a method to achieve the success. And I think this is the most important part, that even if we talk about development team, and we say, and I truly believe for all the product teams this is true, development team has all the skills necessary to develop the product increment. For service, it won't be enough anymore. And maybe we have to say it out loud. The service team builds more than a product. They provide the end value to the client. And as a result, I think they don't really have to have all the skills necessary. It's impossible to demand them to. It's impossible for the development team of 5 or 6 people to also be experts in social media, in finance, in industry, legal, and so on and so on and so on. But they can provide the greatest value to the client, provided they have the support of servant leaders and experts from within their company. What I think is important here is to mention that we're trying to uncover somehow ways to make sure that Agile can still be applied to service and to projects, not only building products, but making sure the products fit into projects, and those projects ultimately provide value to our clients. And we're kind of toying with the idea. This is fresh idea on our end. So I would love to hear your feedback. I would love to chat with you. And maybe you also have some ideas in the service companies or in product companies that use service providers, how to make this cooperation better. Thanks.